Welcome to another tiny tutorial. Today's isn't going to be so tiny. I'm going to show you how to create a new project, both from a template and just from scratch. So dive in, go into projects, click plus project. It's going to pull up the new project dialog. No big surprise. I already know what I want to build, so I've already typed it in. Build master 1080 by 1080 social template. So I'm going to be taking a print creative and having a designer resize that down for Instagram. So project description, resize down to Insta size. Simple, easy, no problem. Here in the project setup, we have the ability of supplying the files. Now, in this instance, the files actually are in creative distribution, but just to show you that you can and that it's not that hard to do, on my desktop, I've got this folder. I'm going to grab the ad that is in question, and I'm going to drop it in. Here it's going to load it in, and we're going to continue on with it. So I'm uploading the artwork that the designer is going to use. You got to do a few things. You got to do a quick category. This is actually a print resize, and it's digital, but I'm going to call this digital. That's just something that I can sort this job in the future to find, just in a different way if I forget the name for some reason. Status, it's in progress. Priority, it's normal. Start date is going to be today. The due date, if I leave it blank, it will use all the information in the job to tell you how long it's going to take. If this has a specific due date, I'm going to pick tomorrow, the 18th, then fill it in and you get going. Now, interval for reoccurring outstanding task alerts. So it's a mouthful. This is a simple thing. You're going to be producing jobs and tasks. So if one of your tasks is not getting done, so if this made it to a designer and the designer saw the notification, looked at it, went, yeah, cool, I'm going to do that later, and then forgets about it, they're going to get a reminder every 2 days that this is on their plate to do. So you can set this for whatever you want, however many days. I highly recommend 2. It seems perfect. We use it in every brand that we work with, and it is the default in the system. So this main page is set up. We've uploaded a file. We've got the project name in. We're staged to kind of move on. The next step is going to be recipient. So who is going to actually receive the art? So in a lot of instances, you would be assigning this to one of your accounts that you're working with. It's a piece of creative that you're building for the marketplace. It would go to, in this instance, let's say ABC Liquor, and you would just select them and move forward. What this actually is going to be done under one of the users. We're going to assign that to the marketing manager user. So I'm going to go in here where you can switch the database of who you're picking from. I'm going to select the users, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to find the marketing manager. That's actually the account that I'm under right now. So I'm going to select him because this is for him. Jobs and tasks. Okay, and we're moving on. So we've set up the summary, we've set up who it's for, and that's going to not only let them know when the job's done and all that stuff, it's going to assign any of the money over to them as well. So whatever the spend is will be associated to that user. So that's fairly important in the long run. Jobs and tasks. Really simple, actually. Within every project, you have jobs. Within every job, you have a task. Now, a job might be something like resize creative. The next job might be set up Instagram ad sales. Then the next job might be, identify and analyze the analytics. So jobs would be uniquely different, and then you would have the tasks inside that would all be the same. So you have 2 ways of creating jobs. You can do it by just adding a single job by clicking the plus, add a new job, or you can do add job from template. Add job from template is real easy, and I'm going to show you how to do that afterwards. But let's show you how to set up a new job because it's the first thing you need to know how to do. So I'm going to click on there and go new job, and I'm going to go resize. Resize art for Insta. Perfect. That name is actually a description of what we're doing. and it's also the name of the first task that we're going to do. Comment, I could go directly in if I know who the user is, which if I look at personnel, I'm going to be assigning a user here. But I could write a comment while I'm building the project, write a comment to the person doing the job in advance. So I'll show you how to do that in a second. Estimated hours of how long we think this is going to take. This is resize, probably going to take 2 hours for the creative team to do it. Disable the reoccurring notifications. No chance. We want them to be bugged if they forget. Send a notification to me when new users are added to the task. I don't really care about that in this instance. Send a new notification when new approvals are added to the task. Again, that's something that I'm not going to be super concerned with. So if I was concerned with them, I would check them. And for this, sure, why not? Let's check them. Claimable. So we're building a task. For every task, there has to be a user or a group. So if I go in here, I can pick users, or I can go user groups. So if I knew this was going to a vendor and an outside agency, and for whatever the reality is, let's just pretend that the outside agency has 3 different designers that we could task for this job. If we assign this to the user group, all of them will be notified that there is a new task for them to do when the task comes up, and one of them will most likely go in and claim it. So if I add outside agency and I make it claimable, if there were 3 users in this group, one of the 3 would come in, claim it, and then move forward. So they're claiming that task and they're doing it. That's not going to be the case. We're actually going to delete this, and we're going to assign just a single user, because that's generally more of how people utilize the system. So I'm going to remove that group. I'm going to go add users or group again, and I'm going to find the creative agency user, and there he is right there, test creative agency user. I'm going to click on him, and I'm going to add him. Now for the approval, that's going to be the marketing manager. So, and that's who I'm in as right now. I'm going to go test marketing manager user, and I'm going to save it. So what we've just done is we've asked for a resize for Instagram. We know that that is actually 1080 by 10, oops, 1080 by 1080. I could write a comment now to the creative agency user. So I could go at test creative agency user, please do fast. Okay. I could also put in a new file here if I wanted to. If there was an added piece, I could add it in right there. So I've staged that task. Now, if I shrink that down, I can add a new task. And so this task might be send to recipient. There we go. Send to recipient. And that's going to be, again, the user at the creative agency in this instance doing it. And then we don't need an approval to do that. It's just he's going to send the artwork out. And there we go. So we've got this beautiful resize art for Instagram, and send. It shouldn't be sent. Let me just edit that. Send to recipient. Okay. So we've got this beautiful project, new project. Within that, we've got resize art for Insta. And within that, we have 2 very defined tasks. And that's how you would create it if you're moving forward. And if you just absolutely love this, if you're like, yeah, we use this and I'm building this project all the time, what you can do is create a template out of that. So you can see here, this is, if I hover over here, this is add job from template. Down in the job that I'm building, though, you can see that there's a little template symbol there, and that's save job as template. So if I click on that, it's going to bring up a dialog box, and it's going to say what name. And I'm going to put in test template for digital. Okay, that's the name of the template. Category, I'm going to put that under digital. And then in the template, when this job is produced, do you want to send notifications to the first task personnel? And you can hover over the I, and it says, when creating this job from template, notifications will be sent to the first task personnel. This will only be applied if the job is not the first in line when creating jobs from multiple templates. So fairly self-explanatory there. You'll get used to how this is. I am going to leave that checked, and I'm going to hit save. So now we've created a template out of this job that we've produced. And as I mentioned, if I wanted to add more jobs, so I can shrink this down, and you see I have just a job in here with 2 tasks. If I wanted to add another job, I can click here and I can add a new job. And that might be, as mentioned before, actually use the artwork and create an ad space. So we're going to move forward from there, and we're not going to do that. So I'm going to delete that. And I'm actually going to delete the resize art from Insta. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it in there. What I am going to do, though, is go to the templates. So I'm going to click in here, and I can see all the categories. So I've got some templates set up for print, some for travel. So if you are booking, let's say, plane tickets as an admin all the time, and you have a defined set of jobs and tasks to get through that, you can create a template for that. And this is all definable. You can create as many categories as you want and create as many templates as you want. But in this instance, we know that we've got one in digital. And if I look in here, you can see, in fact, we've got 2, digital web project and test template for digital. This is the one we just created. So if I clicked on this and I include task personnel and all the information there, and I hit save, it's going to create just a duplicate of what we just did. So if I open the top one up, there's the user is exactly how we set it up. We've got the test creative agency user and the test marketing manager user in there. If I shrink that and I look at the one we just added, the exact same stuff's there. So I've used that as a template. Now I'm going to delete this, and I can go in and let's just pick a different template. I'm going to pick digital web project. I'm going to hit save. And here is what a really nicely curated one is. So collect working files, do the creative work, and create final files and deliver. So if I go in here and look here, working files, this is where you would generally store and put your working files as the designer, so that in the future, if someone needs to redo this or work on the creative and this person's not here to do it, we can just find the project, find the working files in there, and someone will be able to go in and edit it very easy. Now, the bonus is this can happen like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of days, if not years in the future. Someone can go back and see exactly what happened in this project, which is pretty cool. Creative work, obviously this is where the creative work happens, and we see we've got a user and a predefined approver, so forth and so on. So that's how you would add from template. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to actually delete this one that we did freeform up top. Now we've got just our nice clean digital resize in. Project summary, let's go back. I've loaded in the source artwork. We've got the recipient set as the marketing manager user that I'm in using his account right now. Jobs and tasks, we've got a digital resize job with 3 nice clean tasks in it. And then additional personnel. So additional personnel lists the users that are actually being used, but if I wanted to add in an additional personnel, let's say just another team member, like the sales manager is interested in this. So I'm going to add the sales manager, and it'll put the sales manager in and let them view this project. Okay, so we're pretty much done. I can go back a few pages, I can finish, I can click the little eyeball. If I click the eyeball, it tells me who can see this. So all the admin level group users can, all the marketing manager group users can, anyone in the trade marketing group can see this project, the outside agency group can see it, and so can a vendor right now. If I click on info, these are the people that are going to get notifications. So the creative agency user will be the very first person to get it. And the reason they're going to get it is they are the very first person in the project to have a task. So they're going to get notified that they got something to do. So I'm going to hit finish. It's going to blink at us a little bit. And now we got this beautiful project. But what you're going to notice is we've got this little exclamation mark here. And if I hover over it, it says this is an estimation. This is estimated that this project will take longer than expected based on the delivery date. So as you remember, I set this to deliver tomorrow. But if I look at the jobs, each one of these jobs has an estimated amount of time that we believe it'll take. So here, 1 hour to load in and work with the source files, 8 hours to do the resize, which in this instance is a little bit of a crazy time period, and 2 hours to deliver the final files. So this notification saying, hey, based on this template, we don't believe this is going to happen in time. So we have two options. I can go in and I can adjust in the summary. I can edit this and change my delivery date. Right here, you can see that the end date is stretched out at a slightly different time. They're not far apart, but they're saying basically it's not going to happen in time. So if I went in and I did a quick edit and I adjusted my due date to Monday, and I go to the last slide and I finish it, you'll see that that's gone. Now we're all in the clear. Everything looks like it's in alignment, and we can look at the project. So that's going to be in another tutorial. I'm going to come back into this very specific project, and we're going to work through it from all the different perspectives. The marketing manager, the trade marketing personnel, the creative user. We're going to bounce back and forth the different accounts and run through this. So check out the next tiny tutorial on working in projects, and we'll go from there. Thanks, everybody.